पापि न निबध्यते गतसङ्गस्य मुक्तस्य ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रतिलीयते ब्रह्मार्पणं ब्रह्म हविः ब्रह्माग्नौ ब्रह्मणाहुतं ब्रह्मैव तेन गन्तव्यम् ब्रह्मकर्मसमाधिना दैवमेवापरे यज्ञम् योगिनः पर्युपासते ब्रह्माज्ञापरे यज्ञम् यज्ञेनैवोपजुह्वति.
So much we are discussing about action. The question that came to me is, action nale I am confused. Define action. What is the definition of action? How would you define? What is action? We are all doing, but what is action? I couldn't control my laughter when I read that. What is action? என்ன சொல்றது? Action. Karma comes from the root word kr, means to do, to be, to act, etc. There are so many. Karma comes from the root word kr, means to do, to be, to act. So what is action? Action is the effort to strive after something. That is action. Action is an effort to strive for, to chase something, to strive after something. Karma means the force from the past. Karma means the force from the past. That's why karma action is an outcome of the past. The desires that you have gathered in the past is that which drives the current action. So what is karma? A force from the past. That is action. Action, karma, is a process of compensation for your effort. அதுதான் கர்மான்றது. Karma is a process of compensation. இது பண்ணா, you do this, you will get this. It is a process of a compensation. You do this, you will get it. Don't do this, you will not get it. So karma is a process of compensation. For what? For effort. Karma is a process of compensation for effort. These are all the most generalized ways in which you can understand the definition of an action. These are the generalized ways in which you can understand what action means. Action is that which brings a continuity from the past. The continuity from the past is because of the action. What is the past? The vasanas, the desires is the past. So action is a continuity from the past. Clear? போன சண்டேக்கும் இந்த சண்டேக்கும் கண்டினியூட்டி. இந்த சண்டே வந்து எந்த டெக்ஸ்ட் எடுக்க போறோம், என்ன பேச போறோம் தெரியலன்னா there is no continuity. But it is the action that brings a continuity, and action brings a continuity from the past by the desire. The continuity is because of the desire. You follow what I am saying? Three factors determine action. Action has the three components of action: skill, attitude, shraddha. Moonada. Action can be divided into the three: the skill, the attitude, and shraddha. Distinctly you need to work on skill, distinctly you have to work on attitude, distinctly you have to work on shraddha. One will not lead to the other. For a person of shraddha, it may be easier to acquire skill. Carefully follow. It may be easier, but still he also has to make an effort to acquire that skill. Comparatively, it will be easier. A person who has the right attitude will be unaffected by the results of the action, but he also needs to acquire skill. So, action, what is action? Three things put together is action: skill, attitude, and shraddha. Subtler the quality, greater the time and effort. There are three: the skill, the attitude, the shraddha. Of the three, skill is the grossest. Subtler than that is the attitude. Subtlest is shraddha. Another shraddhavan labate jnanam. The person of shraddha alone gains knowledge. The person of shraddha gains shraddhavan labate jnanam. So the three things: the skill, action. What is action? Combination of skill, attitude, and shraddha. Skill is an expertise in one field. Other skill. You can call it intelligence also. Skill is an expertise in one field of activity. When I am driving, I will never compete with the auto driver or the maxi cab driver. When I am driving on the road, I will never compete with these two fellows, the auto fellow and the maxi cab fellows. Why? They are more skillful in that. Now they are on the road all the time. So obviously their skill will be better. Which I have not seen anybody recognizing that their skill is much better than. Because of the skill they have, the liberty they take, we get very irritated. Bayatula, we will go and hit somewhere. That fellow will keep going. I can never compete with the auto cab fellow or auto driver or the maxi cab. Why? Because the skill is the skill part of in that man is far superior. He may not have the right attitude, he may not have Shraddha. If I say that is possible for him, that is possible for everybody. Are you able to follow? If it is possible for him, it is possible for everybody. But what happens is, in action, the attitude and Shraddha, because of the very subtlety in nature, we take it for granted or we assume that it is there already. Because the visible result that the skill gives, Shraddha and attitude doesn't give. The visible result that the skill gives, Shraddha and attitude doesn't give. Therefore what happens? You pay more attention to the skill because it gives a visible result. Yeah. What is the visible result? The material benefit you get. Directly the skill gives you a benefit. Shraddha and attitude doesn't give that. Shraddha and attitude avlo direct ah theriyirudilla. Though they are the one that gives, though they are the one that we need to be actually, though they are the one that we have to be actually focusing upon, we do not focus on that because it doesn't give the immediate, the material, tangible result as in the skill or the intelligence gives. Therefore, in action, we misunderstand intelligence or skill as action. So whoever is skillful, we say, Periyal Bauran. Yeah. Einstein is very skillful in that field. You can't say he is if because of having expertise in one field makes that person very great, means everybody is great. But because of the result it produces, we have the hierarchy. Seriya? The question is, what is action? Adam patient. What is action? Karma na enna artham? Action, what is the definition of karma? Comes from the root word kr, means to do, to be, to act, etc. இதெல்லாம் தான் கர்மாங்கிற வார்த்தைக்கு இருக்கிற meaning, action. What is action? The effort to strive for something. The effort to strive for something is what is called as action. Karma means past. Action means past. The past force makes you to do something in the present. So action is of the present and sollakudadu. Action is of the past. It is the past force that is making me to. It is the past force that is making me to do. That is why action is an outcome of the past. இன்னைக்கு ஒரு ஆள் பண்ற ஆக்ஷனை பார்த்தா ஃபியூச்சரை தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியாது. when a human being is doing an action today, you can't know anything about his future, but you can know everything about his past. And action is an outcome of the past. What he is doing now, but then action, we think, action which how to assess we cannot understand the action in relation to the future. Action is of the past. அதனால்தான் ஹாரோஸ்கோப் மேன் கூட பாஸ்ட் பத்தி கரெக்டா சொல்ல முடியும். ஃபியூச்சரை சொல்றதுல தான் நிறைய தடங்கள்லாம் வரும். பாஸ்ட் பத்தி சொல்றதுக்கு அதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை. See a man acting, you know what that for action is an outcome of the past. Action is a continuity from the past. A force from the past that makes you to do something now. A force from the past that makes you to do something now. For that you are going to get later. And the past and future connect பண்றது தான் action. The force from the past that makes you to do something now for something in the future. So action றது எதை கனெக்ட், that is why insignia of life, past, present, future மூணுத்தையும் கனெக்ட் பண்றது, that which connects all the three is the action. Action எப்படிலாம் புரிஞ்சுக்கணும். If you understand action in all these ways, you know exactly how to handle it. You will know what to cut, what not to cut, what to focus, what not to focus. இதெல்லாம் the definitionly it is. That is why dharma, karmaன்றதெல்லாம் எடுத்து Sanskrit dictionary எடுத்து பார்த்தா the meaning goes into pages. You will get so completely, so utterly confused as to why one word has so many. What we call as the result is nothing but a compensation of effort. Compensation of action is what we call as the pala. Karma palamna enna? I do something, I will get something out. So action is a compensation of the result is a compensation of the effort. Action. That is why we are so result oriented. We are so result oriented. So much of anxiety over the fruit is because the fruit is the compensation of the effort, the action. All are intricately. இதுல என்ன ஒரு பெரிய கஷ்டம் அப்படின்னா, அந்த கர்மான்ற வேர்டு, even though we may use the word karma, in the context the meaning keeps. In some context we mean karma pala, karmana. In some context we mean karma pala. In some context we mean the very doing. In some context we mean the past. இன்டெலெக்ட் டெவலப் பண்றது கிளாரிட்டி இருக்குன்னு பேச உங்ககிட்டயே ஒரு வார்த்தையில கூட கிளாரிட்டி இல்லாம ஒரு வார்த்தையிலே why you give so many இன்டெலெக்ட் எக்ஸசைஸ் பண்ணணும்னா இவ்வளோ for the intellect. If the intellect has to be exercised, it has to be kept in this way. It has to be dealt in this way. Then I went on to say, idella definition of action. Another definition of action is the three integral components for action: the skill, The attitude, Shraddha. Three distinct things put together is what is called as action. In the definition, it is like asking what is car. An assembly of 250 parts put together is what is called as car. Remove those parts and ask where is car. There is no car. Are you able to follow this example? Car, the assembly of 250 mechanical parts put together is what is known as a car. Now all this can be dismantled. Dismantle பண்ணி பார்த்தா என்ன இருக்கும்? Plastic இருக்கும், screw இருக்கும், glass இருக்கும். Now plastic, screw, glass put together is what is called as car. You will not. Doesn't make any sense. But then what is car? This put together, we give it a name called a car. Similarly, these three functions or these three qualities put together is what is known as action. So action and skill, attitude, Shraddha. Skill gives a tangible, visible result straight away. Attitude and Shraddha gives something which is not visible. It also gives a result, but not visible. The three things: skill, attitude, Shraddha. When you do something repeatedly, you develop a skill. Like the driver who's been driving on the roads constantly has developed a skill. You do something repeatedly, you develop a skill. Practice makes a man perfect. Practice makes a man. When you repeat something, you become skillful in that. Repetition makes you skillful. Yeah. Throughout the year, the commandos keep training. They may never get to act. But then they have to be so skillful that at that point of action it has to be executed so precisely. Therefore, what do? They keep practicing it. They keep practicing it throughout. Skill. It has got nothing to do with attitude or it has got nothing to do with attitude or Shraddha. Skill. Attitude is of three: selfish, unselfish, selfless. Skilled na intelligence, expectation solliyachu. Then what is attitude? The three: the selfish, the unselfish and selfless. Distinct and different from the attitude is Shraddha. Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yogan or topic or chapter mulukka he talks about Shraddha. One of the portion, in fact it is there in all the three Vedas. The Rig Veda, Yajurveda and all the three Vedas it is there. A portion that talks about Shraddha Suktamne uniruk. So much they talk about Shraddha. Elsewhere in the Gita he says, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Shraddha. Because Shraddha is that which shows the quality of a person in everything that he does. Skill talks about one part of you. Avladha. Skill talks about one part of you. Shraddha talks about Shraddha than the holy stick in Rangalla. Holy stick is Shraddha. Clear? When you wake up, how you fold the blanket. Yeah, how you fold the blanket, how you put your beds in it starts. So Shraddha is that which talks about anything or everything that you do. Very difficult to have Shraddha. Why difficult to have Shraddha? Is because most of the time in life the results are not visible. Though the result is not going to be visible, what will drive you to do that? Either Shraddha. Though the result is not visible, then what will drive you to do that? What will drive you to do that? That force is called Shraddha. I tell you. One of the extraordinary quality is Shraddha. For example, in the Brahmins, the ancestor ceremony is called Shraddha. Everything in that is invisible. Nothing in that is visible. Adanala, there is a tendency to avoid it or do it lackadaisical or ஏதோ இன்னைக்கு பண்ணி தொலைச்சிடலாம் இது வேற இல்லையா. Why? Because everything in that is invisible. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying go back and start doing that. You do, you don't do, that is your choice. I'm only saying why the word Shraddha has come in there straight away. Because everything in that is invisible. Yeah. What is invisible in that? Everything is invisible. You put that thing in the fire and then say mantralam therinjadana, you will not do it. Mantra, if you know the meaning, you will not do it. Since you don't know, you are happily doing it. In whatever form, wherever you are, let it reach you. Abdin enna artham? He can be in. It says that you may be in the form of, you may be a tree, you may be an earthworm, you may be a mosquito, you may be an asura, you may be a whatsoever form, wherever you are, may you have tripti there. Adha. Wherever you are, in whatever form you are, may you have tripti. And the tripti vandrutuna, what will happen? The tripti vandrutuna, what happens? Moksha. Are you able to follow? Now, how to have Shraddha in that? Because there is no guarantee that it is actually going to happen. There is no guarantee that it may be true. There is no guarantee that yaro ennamo edu vechirukranga. How can it be? What is the guarantee for it? What is the proof of it? There is no guarantee, there is no proof, there is no nothing, and yet you do it. And how you do it? How you do it? Like the bee. This is like a bee. Like a bee, like a honeybee, like a bee. It stings. In that stings, it dies. It puts its entire life in that. You know that it puts its entire life in that sting. You attack the honey bee, it stings you. And then you see the bee dies. It doesn't pick itself up and run. Shraddhana apdi. You do something, Ramatirtha says, you like a bee. Like a bee. It gives its life. You know what everything in the honeybee is done by the female. Only the female does everything there. Because males die very soon. Only one thing they do is they mate. In that act of mating they die. They have to die in mating. Bee does it. That's why everything in the hive is done by male and India, because the fellow is dead and gone. Ramatirtha says it has to be like a bee, meaning it gives its life. That quality is called Shraddha. A skillful person necessarily not have Shraddha. In fact, skillful person கிட்ட Shraddha பார்க்கிறது ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். ஏன்னா the very skill itself makes him very lethargic and lazy, because he knows I can do it, sir. Uttrungo. The very skill itself makes him so the very skill makes him it will bring an element of lethargy, a tamas. And the skill illadava hard work panni compensate pannuvad. The person who doesn't have the skill has to do hard work to compensate. So if you look at action, it is so interesting how to. Of the three, skill is the easiest. Of the three, skill is the easiest. Difficult than that is the attitude. Much more difficult is Shraddha. And whoever gets Shraddha, whoever has Shraddha, they excel. Sa visishyate, he says. Whoever has it, they excel. According to Shastras, according to Krishna, excelling means according to Shastras, excelling means what? When you are free from the influence of Raga Dvesha, you are excelling. That is the Shastric definition of what is excellence in a human being. Supera correcta pantar sir, perfect anna adu out of it. Are you free from Raga and Dvesha? Idallam the definition of. These are all the various ways in which you can understand action.
Fast action, fast concentration.
Yes.
Can there be, pick up new vasanas and then fast action?
Can a person pick up new vasana and develop action? Yes. That's what we are doing now. Even though we say from the past. If you go to that period in the past, it was present then. At that time, so at any point of time, you keep acquiring vasanas. You keep acquiring ragadvesha. Even though we say it is coming from the past. That man put an effort in the past to acquire it. Because of the effort that he has done in the past to acquire it, helplessly he is bound by it. Helplessly he is bound by it. Now, correct. அப்படியே கண்டினியூ பண்ணினே இருந்தா என்ன ஆகும்? In the helplessness of today will continue into tomorrow. அதுதான் கர்ம பந்தா. This is called karma, this is called the bondage of action. So, can a person pick up? Yes. Just as you have picked up in the past, which is your present today, if you do the same thing now, it will continue into the future too. Seriya? It will continue into the future. In fact, we are picking up all the time, because karyate avasha karma. People are helplessly drawn into action. Karyate avashaha. Avashaha means helplessly. And the helplessness is bondage. Karyate avashaha karma. Karyam and the karma is driving a person to do a karyam. And how it is done? Na? Avashahana? Helplessly. So bondage என்றது எங்க வருது? காரியம்லயும் வரல, கர்மாலயும் வரல. அந்த bondage என்றது எது? The helplessness is the bondage. Where I can't, I don't want it, but I am forced. Arjuna asks, யாரோ என்ன force பண்ணி பண்ண வைக்கிறாங்களே கிருஷ்ணா. What is that force that is driving me to action, though I don't want to do it? யார் என்ன அப்படி ஃபோர்ஸ் பண்றாங்க? யாரோ என்ன வெளிலேருந்து யாரோ தள்ளுறாங்க. காமயேஷ குரோதயேஷ அர்ஜுனா. வெளிலேருந்து யாரும் தள்ள. Nobody can push you like that from outside. Helplessness is because of kamayesha, krodayesha. Arjuna asks the beautiful. He says, there is a force that is. நான் சும்மா இருந்தா கூட என்ன ஆட்டி படைக்கிறாங்க சார். கொரோனா வைரஸ் ஆட்டி படைக்கிறது இல்லையா? சானிடைசர் எல்லாம் வச்சிருங்க இங்கேயும் இதுக்கும் இல்லையா? அப்புறம் நம்மள பிடிச்சி ஹெல்த் ஆஃபீஸர் நம்மள பிடிச்சி உள்ள போட்டு போறான். They asked me, sir, class எல்லாம் இருக்கா? I said, why? இல்ல ஹெல்த் புல்லட்டின்ல 4 பேருக்கு மேல அசம்பிள் ஆகக்கூடாது. அது என்ன 144 மாதிரி இருக்குது. இது 144ல தான் தேச 4 பேர் மேல இருக்கக்கூடாது இல்லையா? இதுல இது போறோம், யாராவது வந்தா speak helplessly. So what is bondage? The helplessness that drives a person to action. Are you okay, Subramanian?
So this means the desire, action and the result. In some sense, in a time period, is all happening simultaneously. It is just on and on and on.
Yes. Correct. That is why, even though for theoretical purposes we may talk about it as though they are all separate, separate, separate. But if you actually sit and analyze and you see the depth of it, it is so intertwined and happens at such a pace it happens. That's where a person who understands all this says, இதுலேருந்து வெளில வரத்துக்கு இந்த கர்ம பந்தத்திலேருந்து வெளில வந்து மோக்ஷான்றது. See, today we talk about all that out of a frustration or pain of something. We have not understood action in the depth. And when Bharat asked me, sir, define action, I felt very I felt very happy. I said, oh wow, பரவாயில்ல, ரொம்ப பேசிக்கா define action. என்ன சொல்றாரு, நீங்க பேசி பேசி ரொம்ப குழப்பி விட்டேன் ஆக்ஷனை பத்தி. நான் ஏதோ ஒரு I had some idea, இப்போதான் I'm totally completely confused. Because it happens at, see how the past, the present, the future, all are so intertwined, all are so interconnected. Keeps you in that and the bondage, the suffocation of bondage can come only when you know what action. Only when you know what action is. Why we talk so much about action is because only a person understanding this can have the suffocation. See, today we are suffocated because either pain or result not coming. அவ்வளவுதான். அதெல்லாம் சஃபகேஷனே இல்லை. அது just lack of Shraddha. அது அவ்வளவுதான். Result orientation is nothing but lack of Shraddha. As simple as that. Shraddha இருக்கிறவனுக்கு result orientation, future பத்தின பயம் வராது. யாருக்கு? The person who has Shraddha. Future பத்தின பயம் யாருக்கு வரும்? A person who lacks Shraddha. So all these are so interconnected. A person finds it so suffocating, so scary, so frightened as to இதுலேருந்தெல்லாம் வெளில கண்டிப்பா வர முடியுமான்னு here. That's what Rama asked Vasishtha. Yoga Vasishthala Rama went and asked, இதுலேருந்தெல்லாம் யாராவது வர முடியுமா? இங்க யாராவது வந்திருக்கீங்களா? You understand it so much and you look at yourself, it looks almost impossible. Rama goes and asks, is it? I know so much about all this, I have understood all this, but the very understanding makes me to know how much of it is bondage. இதுலேருந்து எப்படி வெளில வருதுன்றது முடியவே முடியாது போல இருக்குது. Second, is there anybody who has come out? Is there anybody who has come out? That man is extraordinary. Vishwamitra gets up and says, என்ன பார்த்தா தெரியலையா? I have done it. And another man here, Vasishtha also has done it. Only two knows Rama, he says. Only two knows here. Only two knows. One is me. First he talks about himself, and another is Vasishtha. And Vasishtha is a wonderful teacher. We will listen to Vasishtha. First thing that Vasishtha speaks to Rama in Yoga Vasishtha, 150 verses he speaks on Shraddha. First he starts with Shraddha. He doesn't start with become unselfish. His level is so high that he can straight away start talking about Shraddha. He used to think ராமருக்கே ஸ்ரத்தாவை பத்தி பேசணும்னா if he has to talk about Shraddha to Rama himself, if I were to stand in front of him, he will not even bother about recognizing the present, recognizing the existence. Have Shraddha Rama. Have Shraddha Rama. You are asking, no, you should have Shraddha. Why? Shraddha is always about the effort towards an unseen, unrecognizable, non-understandable, ununderstandable or non-understandable? Non-understandable fruit. The non-understandable fruit effort போடுறதுக்கு பேர் தான் ஸ்ரத்தா. அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டபிள் ஃப்ரூட்டுக்கு எஃபோர்ட் போட்டா அது ஸ்கில், அது வேர்ல்ட்லி ஆக்ஷன். Shraddha is the effort that you put towards something which there is no probability of understanding. Abdina almost looks like blind faith. Almost looks like it is completely blind. And the seeker says, I have been so wise in the world all along. Because of all the wisdom in the world, I have not achieved anything. Let me take the risk. Worldல ரொம்ப ஸ்மார்ட் எல்லாம் இருந்து பார்த்துட்டேன். I have been extremely smart in the world. I have been very wise in the world and I have achieved so much in the world, and all that didn't lead me anywhere. ஏன்னா அதே worry, அதே worry, அதே frustration, அதே anxiety, இல்ல அது ஒண்ணும் மாற மாட்டேன்றது, அது ஒண்ணும் மாறல. So he dismisses the worldly thing as with contempt, nishiddha. He dismisses that. And to have to put in your heart and soul like a bee in towards something which the intellect which is beyond the capacity of the intellect to comprehend. Shraddha. Worldly activities ke Shraddha mana. Shastram and Guru kitta Shraddha da. Anga skill intelligence la velike avadu. When it comes to the Shastras, the Guru, only one thing that will help is Shraddha. And whoever has that Shraddha, they are slightly closer. Yeah. Sureshwaracharya is Mandan Mishra. Mandan Mishra changed the name and it became Sureshwaracharya. And one of the most intelligent student of Shankaracharya, Sureshwaracharya. Padmapada is the dullest of all, because his job is only to wash the clothes, feed the துணி துவைக்கிறது, சாப்பாடு பண்ண, அதை தவிர he doesn't. And Shankaracharya will always wait for Padmapada to come. Padmapada vandadukku appuram the class will start. Though Padmapada doesn't understand. See, the intricate definitions that he gives for everything, it goes for, you will go for a toss. ஒரே உபனிஷத்துக்கு he wrote 2 commentaries. For Kena Upanishad, Shankaracharya has written 2 commentaries. Word by word ஒரு commentary, sentence by sentence ஒரு commentary. And you read both You get, oh my God, Ore Ale, how can he write? And Sureshwaracharya commented one day. Sureshwaracharya commented one day and said, Marakattaikella we have to wait. Nothing is, and Shankaracharya knew that. It's not that he does, and Shankaracharya knew it. So one day what he did, Shraddha, he was on the other side of the river. Padmapada was on the other side of the river, drying the clothes. Shankara standing this side, he said, "Hey, Varanga." He said, "Come here." That man came. All the disciples went and fell at Padmapada's feet. They all went and prostrated to Padmapada. Came only, he just walked on water and came. The teacher has called, go. Nature will, water will, Padma, wherever he kept feet, there was a lotus which came and supported that. So he is called Padmapada. Shastramkum Vedanta and the Shastras, the Guru Vakya, skill alanga. It is Shraddha. Why it is Shraddha there? Because it is something beyond that which the intellect can never. Yeah, because straight away he says, you are that already. Tattvam Asi, you are God. No, how can you comprehend that? How can you understand that? One second. Mati pesarar avare. At least or consistent of pesanalavadu you can trust that man, and he keeps. Arjuna says that, no, to Krishna. Prajnavadansya Bhashasen, you perplexing words. Perplexing words nalla enna arudhu? Buddhi is going into moha. Buddhim mohaya sivame. May buddhi is getting into moha, Krishna. Ungitta pesa arambichadrinda I am getting extremely confused. Adukku munnadi avaru romba clarity irundhuchu. He had such a clarity that Krishna is coming and buddhim mohaya vyamishreneva vakyena buddhim mohaya sivame tadekam vada nischitya ekavada nischayama. ஒரே வார்த்தை அதுவும் நிச்சயமா மாத்தி சொல்லக்கூடாது. How can you have Shraddha in? See, you can have Shraddha in ignorance because ignorance has a consistency. There is an element of consistency. Always remember this. Wisdom is very difficult to handle because wisdom is inconsistent. They change, so one of the topics one of the lecture topics I have. Ignorance is consistent, wisdom is inconsistent. நேத்திக்கு இன்னைக்கு நாளைக்கு ஒரே மாதிரி யார் பேசுவாங்க? அதுக்கோசரம் your impulsiveness is not wisdom. Please understand. அப்படின்னா I am already wise, sir. ஏன்னா நானும் அப்படிதான் மாத்தி பேசிருக்கிறேன். அது are you able to follow? Shraddha is always what? Shraddha is needed for the Shastras, the Vedas, the Guru. Ingella skill doesn't help here. What helps here is Shraddha only. And that, so when you are doing an action like studying, listening, following, whatever they ask you to do, what is it that drives it? It's not the skill, it's not the aptitude, it is Shraddha. Therefore, Shraddha becomes a distinct component of action. World பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் ஸ்ரத்தாங்கிற distinct component is not needed at all, because there is a tangible result, a visible result. Also there is an element of consistency in it. இங்க வந்தா Ananda asked Buddha, why are you talking like this? Is there God? Yes, there is God. Abada. Next man, next appointment. Is there God? No, there is no God. Third appointment. Is there God? Let us find out. Ananda that evening asked same question. Why are you contradicting so much? Buddha turned back and asked, what is your question? What is your question? அது எப்படி சார் ஒரே கொஸ்டினுக்கு 10 ஆன்சர் மாத்தி, அது கூட மாத்தி மாத்தி கொடுத்தா are you able to follow? In the world, ignorance has a there is an element of consistency. I know that we can be very comfortable here. ஒன்னே பேசியிருந்தா அப்பாடா, மாத்தி மாத்தி பேசினாதான் இன்னைக்கு ஒரு என்ன பேச போறாரோ தெரியல, அவருக்கே டவுட்டா இருக்குது என்ன பேசுறாரு தெரியல. So why waste? So when you want to do an action of the Shastras, when you have to act in the way that the way that Shastras ask you to do an action, skill will not come and help there, aptitude will not come and help there. What will come and help there? Shraddha. Therefore, Shraddha becomes an distinct component of action from the other two. If I put my fingers in the fire, it will get burnt into the Shraddha la varna. Straight away it can be, the buddhi can comprehend it. Either it can comprehend it directly, or it can comprehend by looking at somebody else. There he says Shraddha is not needed. Where Shraddha is not, that is why when we talk about action, what is action? Combination of skill, attitude, Shraddha. We talk about all the three. When we are talking about Shraddha, to explain the necessity and glory and beauty of Shraddha, the other two will be ridiculed. When we talk about the skill, which is also an essential part, Shraddha appuram modalla first develop skill. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Shraddha will come later. In the verse number 48 and 50 of chapter 2, when he defines yoga, he says, Samatvam yoga uchyate, attitude pati he speaks. Samatvam is because of the attitude. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Skill in action is yoga arjunana. He is talking about skill. That he uses the word. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. இங்கிலீஷ்ல சொல்லும்போது ஸ்கில்னு சொல்ல வேண்டியிருக்குது இல்லையா? The problem is we are having a better word, and the better word we are trying to explain through a language that doesn't have yoga karmasu kaushalam. Clear? Kaushalam comes from the word கௌசல்யான்னு என்ன அர்த்தம்? வாட் இஸ் த மீனிங் ஆஃப் கௌசல்யா? குஷலம். வாட் இஸ் தட் மீனிங்? சௌக்கியமா வேலை பண்ணணும் இல்லையா? அந்த இந்த கர்நாடிக் மியூசிக்ல சம்டைம்ஸ் தேசே அவன் மிருதங்கம் சௌக்கியமா வாசிக்கிறான் அப்படின்னு என்ன அர்த்தம்? இல்லையா? இட் இஸ் ஆல் என்கம்பாசிங். தட் வேர்ட் இஸ் all encompassing. He doesn't take a tangent. He is sticking to the rules. He doesn't bang it so hard where the singer can't be heard. All சௌக்கியமா இருக்குன்னா இன்னைக்கு ரொம்ப சௌக்கியமா இருந்தது இல்லையா? Somebody comes into your house, சௌக்கியமா இருக்கல, and what does it mean? All encompassing. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. It is that skill. In everything there is a betterment, there is an effortlessness. In everything that you do there is a beauty and effortlessness, is what is known as skill. Samatvam, equanimity, is because of the attitude. Shraddha enga varudinga? இதெல்லாம் டெவலப் பண்ற ஸ்டேஜில் அர்ஜுனா இஸ் இன் தட். He has not yet matured to the level of, he has not yet done enough work and tapas to come to the level of Shraddha as yet. In Yoga Vasishta, in the Upanishads, they straight away start with, they will not start with Yoga Karmasu Kausalamula. They straight away start with Shraddha. To you. Such a wonderful word is this word, Shraddha, which is a distinct component of action. So, what will carry you through in life? The skill part of it will be lost. The skill part of it will be lost. The attitude part of it will give you a stability. Avladhan. You have a right attitude, you will have a very stable life. Avladhan. Shraddha vandada, you get excellence. Excellence comes only when Shraddha. So definition of action abdinna, whenever we talk about action, mentally try to remember these three words. What are the three words? Skill, attitude and Shraddha. When it comes to why Shraddha, is because you need to act where the intellect is not capable of understanding. Ya pashyati sa pashyati. Avladhan. On the stage he gives up and says, whoever sees it, இதெல்லாம் ஒரு ஸ்டேஜுக்கு மேல ஸ்கில், இன்டெலிஜென்ஸ், ஆட்டிடியூட்லாம் வேணா சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க முடியும். ஸ்ரத்தா எல்லாம் சொல்லிக் கொடுக்க முடியாது. யூ ஹேவ் இட் ஆர் யூ. ஸ்ரத்தா எப்படி சார் டெவலப் பண்றது? ரிசல்ட் ஓரியன்டேஷன் இல்லாம ஆக்ட் பண்ண ட்ரெயின் ஆனவனுக்கு ஸ்ரத்தா இஸ் ஈஸி. Because Shraddha is towards the incomprehensible. Shraddha is towards the incomprehensible. You do an action, it will bounce back and hurt you. You have to have Shraddha in that statement. You be careful about your thoughts and actions. It will come back and hurt you. You need to have Shraddha in it. That is why people say, but sir, அவங்கெல்லாம் தானே நல்லா இருக்கிறாங்க. இல்லையா? இதெல்லாம் இல்லையா, அவங்கெல்லாம் தானே சார் நல்லா இருக்கிறாங்க. நமக்கு இல்லையா, இந்த மாதிரி பேசின இருக்கிறவங்க தான் கஷ்டத்துல இருக்கிறாங்க. அவங்கெல்லாம் சௌக்கியமா தானே, அவங்க தான் சௌக்கியமா இருக்கிறாங்க. Bad people are flourishing, no sir, because they are able to see it. Drishta. That which can't be seen garthukku da shraddha varano. That which can be seen, there is no need for shraddha. That is why karma phala is divided into two, drishta and adrishta. Some of these beautiful terms today we are not able to use at all. Some of the wonderful terms. Yeah. Achara. Well, achara என்ற word, ஆச்சார என்ற word யூஸ் பண்ண சூப்பர்ஸ்டிஷன் நினைச்சுக்கிறாங்க. Wonderful is that word, achara. Similarly wonderful is this word, shraddha. Similarly wonderful is this word, adrishta. Adrishta. லக் இல்ல, அவருக்கு ரொம்ப அதிர்ஷ்டம் சார்னா அவருக்கு எது நிறைய லக் அடிக்கிறதா? அப்படி கிடையாது. Some can be seen, most cannot be seen. That which can't be seen has to be penetrated and understood. அதுக்கு தான் புத்தி வேணும். That's why buddhi is very, buddhi, the intellect is so necessary in life, so essential to life, because that which can't be seen cannot be understood through experience. That which can't be seen has to be, the unseen has to be penetrated. அது penetrate பண்ணாதான் you can understand. அது penetrate பண்ணணும்னா ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும். Law of karma ஒன்னு இருக்குது. There is something called law of karma. Be careful. Don't cause pain. You can only have shraddha in this. Are you able to follow? So all that the Vedas, Vedanta, the Shastra says, that which helps you to plow through this and become wise. Because you have to plow through this. You have to put in hard, dedicated work here. When it comes to the Shastras, you need to put in hard, dedicated work. What will help you? Not the attitude, not the skill. Why I am talking about Shraddha is because Shraddhaங்கிறது ஏதோ ஒரு value for an action நினைச்சுன்னு இருக்கிறோம். Shraddha is an integral part of action. We don't say skill is a value for action, no. Valuesனா என்னத பேசுவோம்? Honesty, integrity தானே. Valuesனா என்ன? Because அது இருந்தாலும் இருந்தா it is extra, இல்லனாலும் it's okay. Honest இல்லனா பரவாயில்ல, ஸ்கில் இருக்குல்ல, வேலை குத்துறேன். Are you able to follow? So values are seen as an, அதுதான் சாஃப்ட், என்னது சாஃப்ட் ஸ்கில் அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? இருந்தா பார்க்க நல்லா இருக்கும், அவ்வளவுதான் இல்லையா? பசிச்சா சாப்பிடணும், அந்த சாப்பாடே கொஞ்சம் அழகா வச்சா அவ்வளவுதான், அழகா வைக்கணும், அவ்வளவுதான். பட் அழகா இல்லாம கூட இட் இஸ் ஓகே, யூ கேன் ஸ்டில் eat. Values are not like that, or the way in which people have understood, they have given this thing to the values. So in the same way, what we have misunderstood is Shraddha is an additional value like this. Vedanta comes and says Shraddha is not an additional value for action. Shraddha தான் action. Yeah. காருக்குள்ள வைக்கிற பர்ஃபியூம் மாதிரி கிடையாது ஸ்ரத்தா. காருக்குள்ள you may keep it, you may not keep it. Shraddha is not like that. Shraddha is car. Action மூணு இருக்குது அதுல. What are the three? Skill, attitude, Shraddha. And all that the Shastra speaks, you need to have. You can have only Shraddha. And whoever has that Shraddha, they are superior. They know something much, much deeper. After Ramakrishna Paramahamsa died, all the students, all the disciples got together and they decided to take up sannyas and all that. Ramakrishna didn't give sannyas to anybody. It is started by the students themselves got in together and they started it. 3 years after the death of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. So, everybody wanted to give a name. எல்லாருக்கும் ஒரு name இல்லையா? சன்னியாசம்னா வேற பேர் எடுத்துக்கணுமே. So they said, யாருக்கு இந்த பேர்லாம் வைக்கலாம்? அப்படின்னொன்னே everybody said, Narendra. You should keep the name of Ramakrishna. So you should be called Ramakrishna Ananda. Because you are the torch bearer. Vivekananda, Narendra said, no. I have a complex, he says. I have a complex. Why? See that boy there? I cannot serve him. I don't have Shraddha in the way that he had Shraddha. Therefore, between me and him, it is fair that it's okay. I'm going to finish it.
Each Shraddha is same as Bhakti Shraddha.
Vivekananda said, Narendra said, I don't deserve to take the master's name because the Shraddha that he had, I am still competing with him. I want to develop the Shraddha that he has. Everybody look at him and he is the most illiterate, he is the most useless of all when it comes to the skill bar. He may not know how to explain, he may not know how to talk, he may not know all that, but he became the first president of the Ramakrishna Mission. If you go to Chennai Ramakrishna Mission, you can see Ramakrishna Ananda photo. Who gave him the title Ramakrishna Ananda? Vivekananda said he should keep that name. Why? Because the Shraddha that he had. Wonderful is that it's such a unique, distinct, wonderful part of an action, not an addition to action. It is a distinct, unique part of action. Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Yoga, the way he uses. The Upanishad says, how to get there? Through the Munduka Upanishad says, Shraddha, Bhakti, Dhyana, Yoga, the way he. You will get there by having Shraddha. Shraddha Vandadam, Bhakti becomes meaningful. Without Shraddha, Bhakti is superstition. Without Shraddha, Bhakti is fanaticism. It is Shraddha that makes it. It is Shraddha that makes it Bhakti into a true Bhakti. Because Shraddha illama devotion what would you call as? It can be either superstition or fanaticism. Munduka Upanishad says Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana. Jnana is meditation. Jnana is meditation, the highest principle. The starting point of an action that is relevant for the Shastric studies is Shraddha. Mind will doubt. mind will doubt. The result quietens the mind's doubts. That's why we are so result oriented. Carefully follow what I am saying. The mind is that which doubts. Result வந்த உடனே mind உடைய doubt gets பண்ணா கிடைக்கும்ன்றது ஒரு நம்பிக்கை வந்துருக்கு சார். ஸ்ரத்தாக்கு அது கிடையாது. ஸ்ரத்தா சேஸ் கடைசி வரைக்கும் பண்ணிட்டே தான் இருக்கும். We have not signed up for lifetime commitment. Long back, when she was small, in Swati, when she was small, some things she did and she said sorry. She told her sorry because the most useless, meaningless word in life is sorry. ஏன்னா சாரின்னு சொல்லிட்டு திருப்பி அதே பண்ணா that makes no sense. So I told her, say I will not do it again. Don't say sorry. Say I will not do it again. Instantly convert. That's commitment. I cannot. That's commitment. I cannot give you that. Shraddha is that. No? No, sir. Where you may not, you do not know it, you do not know anything about it, no way you can understand anything about it. Angada enna aayirudhu, we turn superstitious, we bring in some mystical powers, edho onu kondu vandu we have to satisfy the mind. Shraddha says all this is not, all this is irrelevant. All this is. So, when it comes to the action of pursuing the spiritual path, when you have to do a worldly action, skill is a must. In the Shraddha land there, skill you can see it directly. Yeah. இந்த காலேஜுக்கு போனா பிளேஸ்மெண்ட் எப்படி இருக்குதுன்னு வியாசம். பிகாஸ் we are seeing the result directly. அங்க வந்து ஸ்ரத்தா வேணும்ன்றது கிடையாது. Here you need. So why I am talking about Shraddha in relation to it? Because in relation to the action of the spiritual growth, the study, the Shastras, what component of action is essential here? Shraddha. Even though that wasn't Bharat's question, I am saying this because here it is also an action. It is also an action. But what is the driving force here? It is this Shraddha. Shraddha is not wrong. Shraddha comes when you can go down. If you recognize your incapacity and go down, Shraddha comes. அவ்வளோ ஸ்கில் டெவலப் பண்ணி, அவ்வளோ எஃபர்ட் போட்டு ஸ்கில் டெவலப் பண்ணி, அதனாலெல்லாம் பிரயோஜனம் இல்லைன்னு தெரிஞ்சாதான். An ignorant fellow can never become humble. His humility is, his laziness is. That fellow has done, he has put in some effort in the path, he had become extraordinary in some skill and then understood what? அதனாலெல்லாம் ஒன்றும் அச்சீவ் பண்ணல. Why? The worry is the same, anxiety is the same. Yeah. பயத்தோட எங்க உட்கார்ந்துருந்தா என்ன? I am sitting with fear. Now, whether I am sitting in a BMW or a Rolls Royce or in a public transport, what difference does it make? Bhaya is Bhaya. what difference does it make where? So, who can, Shraddha comes when the intellect understands the futility of அங்கதான் ஸ்ரத்தா வரும். Almost அந்த thin dividing line. Don't catch that thin dividing line. Shraddha will look like
intense effort.
blind to me. It looks like almost like a blind faith. Mind says that the ego, the arrogance says, I will not have reason, faith. Shraddha comes and says, faith is faith. Simply go down and say, simply go down. I don't know, therefore I surrender. If you know something, you can never surrender. And the skill no, I don't know, தெரிஞ்சு for a virtue, one type of action is called Shraddha. Very skillful, and he has understood that skill has not led him to that. World la romba utsala irukkranga ellarume. Everybody when concerns the world, everybody is very intelligent. Yeah. They want to acquire and they want to double the acquisition, they want to preserve, they want to protect, they want to transfer. All this is done in a very skillful, intelligent way. But all that way of functioning will not help here. Why? Because here you have understood the uselessness of that, and then you come here. And when you come here, you say, Shraddhavan Navate Jnanam. What will take the Shraddha away? The doubts of the mind. What is the doubt of the mind? What is the doubt of the mind?
What will I get?
இன்னும் ரிசல்ட் வரலையே. 30 வருஷமா வந்து இருக்கிறேன். இன்னும் ரிசல்ட்டே வரலையே. Mind gets a doubt over the results. Shraddha says, இவ்வளவு நாள் வந்து ரிசல்ட்டால என்ன ஆச்சு? Immediately ask yourself, you did so many things and you got the result. What happened out of all that? Nothing has happened. Therefore, don't venture into those. I will not continue to act in those lines again and again and again. I continue to act like a bee. That act, it gives its life. That act, it gives its life. There are some bees called soldier bees. They don't do anything. Summa wait pannine irupanga. Attack varum, an attack comes. And when they come, the job of the soldier bees is to sting. And when they sting, they die. Sting, they die. And we literally saw that long back in this outside this now there is no balcony in this room. It is covered and there is a song this room in the academy. Previously there used to be a balcony, exactly there was a huge beehive. Couple of times he got stung. He didn't say he got stung. After he left, he said, no, we will smoke it out and remove. So when you are doing that point of view, you can see them falling and dying. Then he said, gross proof he said, Maybe what he says is lack of to let go of all that is known, to let go of all the comfort, to let go of everything that is meaningful to you and pursue that. What will guide you? Intelligence will guide you, huh? Attitude will guide you, huh? Shraddha. Because you have to let go of the world, you have to drop everything that is known to you, you have to let go of everything that gives comforts to you and to others, to drop everything and to go and sit and pursue. They can't do. Who can do that? One who has Shraddha. One who has, and Upanishadic statement, Shraddhavan labate jnanam. Labate gets. Shraddhavan. Jnanavan அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? காசு உள்ளவர். கரெக்ட். ஞாபகம். ஜனவான்னா நிறைய காசு இருக்கு. குணவான் அப்படின்னா நல்ல குணங்கள் இருக்கு. ஸ்ரத்தாவான்னா
நிறைய உள்ளவர்.
அதான் ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே ஞானம். இந்த சான்ஸ்கிரிட் prefix தமிழ்ல அதே தான் யூஸ் பண்றோம். அப்படியே லிட்டரலி borrowed. குணவான் அப்படின்னா who has in plenty. தனவான் அப்படின்னா அவர்கிட்ட he has in abundance. Shraddhavan labate jnanam. The Shraddha has to be in abundance. 8-10 நிமிஷம் ஸ்ரத்தா, அதுக்கப்புறம் வெளில போற வரைக்கும் ஸ்ரத்தா. செருப்பு மாட்டின உடனே ஸ்ரத்தா தோசை ஒண்ணு. அவர் ஸ்ரத்தாவான் இல்லை, அவர் அஸ்ரத்தாவான் அர்த்தம். அதுதான் அன் ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே ஞானம். தனவான் குணவான் அந்த மாதிரி ஸ்ரத்தாவான் லபதே. ஆக்ஷன் ஓகேவா?